foreigners who have had some questions about what exactly are the new laws maybe for operating kick scooters from our side. And of course, from the user side, what should the user know about it? Especially as of this year, we have a new legislation act for traffic. So this means that before that, it was kind of a gray area. And we as operators were also like really expecting local government to do something about it, because other European like nations have already like dealt with it, especially due to COVID, and infrastructure here is as it is. So we have tried to manage as well as we can. And as of January this year, we now have some basic rules. So first of all, I would maybe just introduce what the general rules are for driving a kick scooter. And these general rules actually apply to both whether you have your own private scooter or you use rental operators in Tallinn. So this year, at least from what I know, there will be 3 operators offering service in Tallinn. So one is us, so it's Tuul kick scooters. Then we will have Bolt. They have this green and white kick scooters, and the third operator, who will probably start within the coming months, will be Prime Bike, and they use bird scooters, which are yellowish. So this helps you to understand that not all scooters are the same. There are different operators, and who might have a little bit different pricing or a little bit different operating area and so forth. But yes, coming back to the general laws, I thought I also have a presentation that I would maybe later share, but as I would really like you to more focus on what I'm saying instead of just looking at the slides, then I hope it's fine if I email them out later. So what changed in terms of the new law? So before, there wasn't any exact speed. There were actually kick scooters driving in Laagnade, which is a big highway, and actually cars drive there like 80 or 70 kilometers per hour. So there have been some cases from last year where like kick scooters were also driving next to them, and that seems really crazy. And it was crazy because there was actually some clips from that. So as of this year, the maximum speed for all kick scooters, it doesn't matter how powerful the engine is, it has to be limited to 25 kilometers per hour. Us as operators last year, so 2020, we had agreement with Tallinn, and we operated with 20 kilometers per hour. So we could go more, but again, Tallinn had very strict laws and regulations. But as of this year, we have new legislation over Estonia, and we have agreed that this also goes for the operators. So secondly, there's also more support from the police, because before that, kick scooters in Estonia were equal to pedestrians. Sounds a bit funny, but of course, if there were like any accidents between pedestrians, then no police didn't came to solve it. But as of this year, if somebody falls with kick scooter, gets injuries, if they let's say hurt another people, then again there might be police, and there's special statistics. So we do have a much better overview of how many accidents there are really like happening with kick scooters. Because so far, only if there is police involved, then we have been contacted privately, and police has let us know, like, okay, do you know that there has been an accident on this date and on this time, just to let you know if we maybe have some information about who went where, and if we can maybe help the police with the investigation, or if we have like any damages to our vehicle. So that's the second thing. The third thing is now that there's also laws for parking. Before, you could actually, of course, we did want to like regulate it in our own terms, but now it's actually a law that if you are parking light electric vehicles, you have to leave at least 1.5 meters on the sidewalk or where you leave it. It can be just an open area too, or a special, let's say, bike park where you park it. But the main reason is that this is the minimum requirement. Of course, they didn't want to be too narrow and say that you have to park it at the end or other end of the road, but this kind of also assumes some local or normal sense from people that you do not leave it at the center of the road. We also had some addresses from people with some disabilities who, for example, couldn't see very well. And for them, it was also a big problem, because if there's something stopping their way, they might get frightened a bit, and it's also a little bit difficult for them to move. So we again did quite a big campaign for all our users and in our social media channels, and also special movie clips to show like how exactly park and what you actually cause, what problems can you actually cause to other pedestrians or bikers or other traffic members if you just leave your vehicles randomly. So this is again another measure that really supports us. Also, what we try to underline is the common sense of riding solo. Last year, we were also seeing a lot of people actually like driving, sharing one vehicle, like 2 people, sometimes even 3. So again, if I were a normal person, I would think that, okay, maybe this is not the best idea, especially if we look at families with children who are like 5 years old. Maybe they don't even, they can't even normally hold themselves up from the bar, but they just hold from the pole and shake. So I don't know how parents really allowed their kids to drive like that. But again, as this is now being regulated by the law, then police can also control this, and they can actually fine people, for example, if this is not like their first misbehavior in this way. So again, what I wanted to underline again is that we are not police. I know that there's a lot of concern about what can operators do, and just want to say that we, of course, we really want to educate, and we have had quite a big budget from our operating profit to raise awareness, and we understand that this is a relatively new means of transport for Estonians and maybe people who also live here and come from abroad. But as of this point, we also have to let you know that we can't be the police. So again, we try to, of course, ban people or contact them if we get very specific information that, okay, this bike at this certain time with this special ID was there, and somebody has maybe a photo that they can show us proof, and of course then we can call, we can contact, and the worst case scenario is that we can like delete and ban their account until further notice. So this is what we can do. And for the safety and then parking and riding, we also have quite a lot of videos, starting from how to cross roads, sidewalks, and big intersections. So what we have recommended is, and what the law now also recommends, to actually slow down, to use pedestrian speed when crossing sidewalks, or when you arrive to intersections which are not regulated with traffic lights. So what we recommend is to actually come off from the kick scooter. So then you would leave yourself enough time. You give a very straight signal to other let's say bikers or cyclists and cars that you want to cross the road, and they have enough time to actually slow down their pace. So again, you might always say as a kick scooter rider that it's my right. I mean, I did everything correct. I crossed the road where I had to, but I mean, who is the weaker side if there's a car and there's a kick scooter rider and they clash? So again, always from the kick scooter rider, you have to think that your life and your health is on the stake. So what else in terms of wearing a helmet? This is again another question that people ask, and this is a little bit of a mixed information out there. Of course, what we really suggest is to always wear a helmet. I know it's a little bit difficult for if you do not own a bike, or if you, for example, don't use kick scooter service daily, then maybe you do not always have a helmet with you. So in that case, actually the law is saying that if you are 16 or older, of course it is recommended to wear a helmet, but it is not obligatory. Nobody can't fine you, nobody can't point at you or say anything bad about you. But if you are 15 or under that, then helmet is obligatory. It doesn't matter if it's a bike, if it's a kick scooter, if it's your private vehicle or a rental one, you have to wear a helmet, or your kid has to wear a helmet. So this is also an important thing to notice. Yes, and in terms of parking or driving, like where can actually the vehicles park? Of course, at this point, they can the vehicles can be left to sidewalks, because there isn't enough light traffic roads in Tallinn. So you can actually ride on the sidewalks. Again, if we would just have better infrastructure, and we would actually have like lines which would be separated so that you could feel safer riding next to the cars, then there would be definitely much more kick scooters which would move from sidewalks to like light traffic roads. But if there isn't such an opportunity yet, then this means that we need to share roads with pedestrians. So this is why also operators underline, and the law also underlines, that you need to slow down your pace when you are moving with like a highly populated area. And secondly, what we have done is in the Old Town, we have lowered the speed to 15 kilometers per hour. And also, since there are like cobblestones, the road isn't that smooth anyway, then I think people don't drive there like super fast anyway. And again, if there's a lot of let's say general push from the user side or from just the citizens in general to, let's say, have 2 to 3 other maybe areas where it could be like sensible to limit the speed maybe to, like, say 15 or 10 or 20 kilometers per hour, then of course us as operators, it's really not that difficult to do. But as we need to like compete with each other in the industry, and also if our vehicles would ride, let's say 20 kilometers and private vehicles would ride 25, then of course we could limit our risks, but basically everyone would just, let's say, purchase their own vehicles and wouldn't really want to use us, because one point is again that people want to save time, and this was, as one survey showed, this was also one of the main reasons that people want to use light electric vehicles, to avoid traffic, to not worry about parking spaces or parking fees and so forth. They can just take the scooter and leave it within the area that we have marked in the app. So yes, for the law side, this is like generally the main thing. And just for the service side, I would also maybe want to underline a few things, and then we will go straight to your questions if there's still something that I maybe didn't address yet. So as from the service, again, it's not free. These are like private operations that are offering this kind of service here in Tallinn. The prices might vary a bit. Normally, all of these have already been showed in the apps. So us and Bolt, at this point, we operate with the same price. The third operator hasn't come out yet, so I don't know exactly how much their service will cost. But for us, booking or reservation fee is 0.09 euros per minute. And if you actually start to ride, then minute cost is 0.15 euros, so 0.15. And again, there might be some daily passes that you can use. We will start to offer this service within April. I think Bolt already has some daily tickets that you can use and don't really need to worry like how long you will drive. So the sum will be fixed, and there also will be some monthly passes. And as an insider view, just wanted to underline that there at this season, I think Bolt and us also definitely, we will also have electric bikes that you can rent. So this is from the news side, and also from rentals. What both operators have is group rides. So again, if there's more than one person and other people do not have a special application, then it's also possible in our case to like rent 5 vehicles with one account. And yeah, basically all this safety information is also available in the app. So the users can be 16 or above, and for the group ride, the minimum age is 18, or at least the one who is renting vehicles for themselves, and for others, they need to be 18. So that's the basic thing. But I think our app is both in Estonian and English. So all information that you have and that you would want to understand more about the service side, you can also find out from the operators' homepages or social media that also shows way to our homepage. Okay, so that's generally about it. I have no idea if this was what you were looking for the general part.
Thank you so much. It was a very great overview, and actually it cleared out some moments for me personally. But can you repeat again from which day, from which months does this new legislation come into force? Is it 1st of May?
You mean the traffic, the new laws that I was just talking about? Actually, they started from 1st of January as of this year. Okay. So they actually, the government wanted to adopt this already last summer. But I think it was due to Corona, and they had their focus on some other more critical issues. So they had to postpone it into New Year. But yes, this is already actually in force. And in my presentation, which I will send you afterwards, there's also a link to English version where you can actually Google. And if you type in light electric vehicles as a word, then it will show and go to the right section of the laws and act, and you can actually see yourself for like what are the like very specific regulations for the maximum rated power of vehicles, like how many kilowatts there can be, and so forth.
This information is in English, right?
Yes. Oh, as I understand, everyone here speaks fluent English. I think in the page, I'm not sure if it's in Russian, but in Estonian and in English, it's both out there.
All right. Okay. So we have a first question from Leonardo. Actually, Leonardo, do you mind reading it yourself? Please turn in your mic.
I do not mind at all. Hi.
Okay.
Yes. So first of all, thanks for the very detailed presentation. It was very informative. So the first thing I'd like to know is, in some apps, I've got some experience using apps in other countries, especially in Portugal. So some apps such as Uber enables you, when you're using their mobility solutions, to visualize exactly where you can and where you can't park, or where you can or you can't keep your bicycle or your scooter. This has to do with some integration with the city authorities probably, and when the person is about to leave their scooter, that is very clearly indicated in red. You must not park here, otherwise you will be fined. I don't know how that worked in Portugal, but they were probably able to track the person and issue a fine to them if they ever left either the scooter or the electric bike at a place where they was not supposed to. Are there features that would probably enable that as well here in Estonia?
Yeah, so first of all, it is quite similar in that case that, again, I don't know if you see it normally, so kind of.
Yeah, sort of.
So I don't know if it shows the correct lighting.
Yes, I see some dots.
But basically, yeah, well, if you plan to use the service anyway, it doesn't matter which operator, but I recommend like downloading the app. So you don't need to use it, but just to understand. So basically, we do have specific areas underlined. Okay. And if you, like, for example, click somewhere outside of the marked borderlines, the app will also show you that, okay, you are in the unrestricted area. Okay. So again, if, for example, somebody plans to go very outside or very far away from the allowed parking zone, it is still possible, but they have to kind of understand that it brings them a comfort fee. And it is, if you just park quite near to where the borderline is, then it's roughly €5 fixed fee. But every kilometer that you go further away from the parking zone, then it will add another euro for that kilometer. So if it's, let's say, 3 kilometers outside of the zone, then it's 5 as the minimum fee plus other €3 for extra. So it's €8 for that. So this is, again, a measure which people outside of Tallinn, near urban areas, still use occasionally. May it be later in the evenings or just for their own comfort, because for them it's very important that they can drive to their home. But in general, what we have thought is that this sum is motivating enough for people to kind of bring back the scooters to allowed areas. And again, what we try to do within the authorized zones is that if there are, let's say, some apartment buildings or businesses, or let's say even graveyards or I don't know, bus station or other like important, let's say, housings where they do not want kick scooters, then again we can cut out this area. And again, users, if they want to park there, the app says that, sorry, this is not your parking area. If you want to park here, you have to pay €5, or it's easier maybe to just move your vehicle for 10 meters and park for free. So this is what the measure that we use to motivate people to park in authorized areas. And as of this season, what we will change in our app is there will be recommended parking spots. Again, as City has said, it's not 100% obligatory to only take from a certain place and to later put it back to a certain place. You can still, free float and leave it where you would like, but just what we would like to try and test is to kind of direct people towards towards that you can already check from the app, okay, so the nearest parking place is maybe only 20 meters from me, so I would just rather do some few extra steps, and I know that this vehicle is safely parked. And what we can do is to motivate them with some discounts for next rides or something like that. So this would be like another measure to avoid this crazy mess around the city center, especially.
All right, thank you, Leonardo, for your question. Thank you, Kai, for your very, very detailed answer. David, I can see that you had a very long question. Maybe you would like to read it yourself, if it's okay. I know that you're having a dinner. Just a moment interruption. Please present it to us, if it's okay. David?
Oh, sure. It wasn't really a question, just more of a comment. I've seen a few people riding two people to a scooter, and I've been in a situation where I've been with friends who want to as well. They don't have the app. They're not going to go and sign up the app and put in information and their phone number and their credit card details and have the initial charge and stuff just to ride a scooter once because I'm in the mood and I invite them to. But apps don't let you do things like rent 2 scooters at once. And I just wonder how much of that kind of, seems a fairly simple feature that scooter vendors could add that would just make it easier for groups of people to all rent when just one person has access.
I actually also addressed it in my short presentation, where I think I was talking about what new features we have. So I think Bolt has also done it, and we have definitely launched it, and it has been live for a few weeks already. And with our app, you need at least one user, of course, because we need some credit card details for the service. But you plus up to 4 people can actually ride with app. So there's no need for 5 different people to all have their apps. So. Or it can be a group of 10 where at least 2 have the application, and it's still possible to have like group rides.
Oh, sure. Well, I'm sorry for missing that in your.
No problem. It's also relatively new service.
All right. Next question or comment, Leonardo. Please turn in your mic.
So yeah. So. It's just that I'm switching back and forth. So yeah, on top of the scooters, are you planning to add any other mobility solutions, such as bikes, like regular bikes or electric bikes?
Yes, it's in this season we can't confirm exactly, but we will still put the bikes together ourselves. We are like doers, not just buyers. And there's like a bunch of engineers, very like international bunch of people that we have here. But this kind of delays our service a little bit, but I am hoping that at least by midsummer we will have a test fleet of electric bikes, which will go again, I hope, at least 30 kilometers. But if we manage to operate with some several battery packs, then it might be like up to 50 or even more. And also what I wanted to underline that we also have swappable batteries. So for us, we try to be like really like climate neutral. We only use cargo bikes, electrical cargo bikes, plus we use like this pressure gas vents. I hope it's the right term. CNG. So we do not use diesel or gas or gasoline. Yes. So again, we have like green electricity for production. So again, what we see is a very big trend, and we do hope that all operators follow, is to operate, to produce as environmentally friendly as possible. And although it's a thing, we think that it's still a good initiative that all the companies, not just of course light electric vehicle operators, do.
Right. Yeah. Are there any plans to provide some sort of integration? Let's say, for instance, if I'm a commuter and I'm coming from a different city, I could probably make use of, for example, the pass that I've got, and as soon as I get off the train, I could just get onto one of the scooters or the bikes and be able to move around the city and provide this sort of seamless transition, just so it's easier for people to commute.
So your question is that why can't there be more, let's say, kick scooters or bikes near, let's say, bus stops or train stations or so forth?
Perhaps.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, again, this is a very good question that we have also been asking from the city council. As of last year, all the, let's say, hotspots that we had and that we created, we had to consult them together with city authorities. And the transport ministry kind of has this hesitation that, okay, maybe people will park super badly and stop people to go on a bus or leave the bus. So they kind of had this policy that, okay, like the light electric vehicles have to be at least, I don't know, 10 to 20 meters away from bus stops or like train stops. But some areas like in Tehnika Street, like Kitseküla or Väike-Tallinn and near Kristiine shopping center, there are already some hotspots where we try to keep vehicles daily and other operators too. But yeah, we do hope that this now changes, and Tallinn seems to be melting down in terms of they do not ask us to collect all the vehicles and just bring them to our hub for the night, because we do have swappable batteries and we do not see like any point unless they need to be washed or maintained. Like isn't any other reason why we need to actually bring them away from the street. So this is again something that that will change as of this season.
Kai-Lii, it's such a pleasure to listen to you. It's really super educational, and I hope that we can do a bigger event with you and we will have more time. So for now, we take last question for Kai-Lii, and then we have to we will go to Grigori because he has to leave earlier. So Helen, please present your question for Kai-Lii. Helen?
Yeah, sure. Hi. My question is it possible for Tuul or maybe all the scooter providers to work together to offer incentives to riders to make them wear a helmet? I don't quite know how. Maybe they could print off a barcode and scan it or put it in their helmet or something to verify that they're wearing the helmet. But if there's something that people are thinking about doing or if this has been discussed.
Okay, thank you. Actually, last year, I don't know how many people were here when in August or already like in September last year. But basically, we had an initiative where we actually were selling like helmets under their like own value. I think it was like 13 euros or something like that. So I think we managed to sell roughly like 100. So it was kind of a promotional project, but we also wanted to understand if there's an actual interest to buy a helmet. And in Estonia, I think normal helmets price starts from, let's say, 25 euros plus. They can be like cheap Chinese, but anyways, this is the price you get if you go to retailers. In terms of initiatives, yeah, we can think of that, but I think for us as operators, the main concern is still, I think, vandalism. If we leave something out for free, or if we do not lock it, or if we do not integrate it within the bike very well, then there just might be problems that helmets might be stolen, or people just, I don't know, mess around or you know, scratch graffitis and stuff. But we do plan to do this second batch of like selling helmets within a very low price so that people can actually like afford it.
Thank you, Kai-Lii, once again for amazing presentations and for your answers to our questions. And I hope personally, and I'm sure that everybody else is agree, that we would like to see you more in some other format, because you're just a fantastic speaker. It was a pleasure to listen to you once again. So